What's going on YouTube and cryptocurrency family? My name is Harry and I'm the Crypto Vet. Thank you for tuning back in. Today it is, was it today Monday or Tuesday? Today's Tuesday, and we are still in a little bit of a bear trend, but this is perfectly healthy for the markets. We'd like to see this. This is the time when you buy, when you start to see all the red, that's the time to buy. If you like this content, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're not following me on Twitter already, follow me at XRP Veterinarian. I do post interesting things I find as well as my videos if you do care to see that. And then on the Discord, I just updated a lot of the altcoins to kind of show correlations against Bitcoin and where they're at. I also have my top 2021 altcoin picks, plus there's a general discussion amongst a lot of other crypto enthusiasts, so completely free. Links in the description. We've grown from being at just 4 to 5 people that we're almost at 100 now, so if you're interested in that, just come on down. You're more than welcome. But let's get started here. So here we can see on CoinMarketCap that we have Bitcoin down about 6%, Ethereum 4%, XRP's up just a little bit, maybe trying to break away from the pack here. We'll just kind of have to look at the charts and see. There's still a lot of greed on the board. These are altcoins that have already taken a step away. People are taking some of their money out of Bitcoin, putting them into altcoins, looking for maybe potentially catching a big pump here. And then as far as our biggest losers, still not that bad. Bitcoin Diamond down 11%, but if you look on the 7-day, it's already up 60%. So let's go ahead and head over to Bitcoin. I waited till after 6 o'clock to record this video. It's currently 8 o'clock Texas time, and we can see here on the daily, we closed our last daily candle at around 33,000, and we started it and we have been on the down. We came back and actually tested the daily 20 daily exponential moving average, which is a good thing. We could find a nice bounce here and slowly make our way up and potentially set new all-time highs, but we're not there yet. We could also drop down and set some new lows, right? As of right now, we are in a correction that is about, we did 28% here. And you know, a lot of people are saying that this is the bottom. I cautionally just wait, right? Because I want to see us break the trend. I want to see us continue up. You know, to me, a couple $1,000 different buy-in doesn't really make a difference, because I don't want to buy in at, you know, right here, 34,000, and have it drop to 29, 27, when I could just wait for a confirmation of a trend reversal. And as of right now, we have not closed a higher candle, right? If you're never going to time the bottom perfectly, you're never going to time the top perfectly, but if you can just bounce around and get somewhere in here for selling and, you know, somewhere in here for buying, that's a good thing, right? Because you're still making money. If you try to always time the top and bottom, you're pretty much always going to miss, and you'll end up usually losing money. The best traders out there are the ones who do nothing. You just buy it and hold. Time will make you rich. All right, so let's go ahead and just zoom in just a tad. Let's head over here onto the 4-hour, and some of the things that I see that are pretty good and also pretty bad is we had a bounce right on the 20 daily exponential moving average. This here is just a fast moving average, just showing whether or not we are above or below, like which one's higher, buyers or sellers, right? And we got rejected right there, showing that the sellers were in more control. Now the question is, are we going to hold on the daily, or are we going to drop and continue down? And if we drop and continue down, this isn't the actual weekly exponential moving average. The weekly is down here. I know they're the same color and that can get a little confusing, so I wanted to make sure I brought that up. But here is the weekly exponential moving average that we can hit in a bull run, and this drop here would put us all the way down to almost $20,000, and we've already had about a 25% correction, so let's see what that would be another 40% correction to the downside. And you know, this is very possible, because if you got a lot of money in Bitcoin and you can hedge yourself just fine, right? It'd be pretty easy to sell $100 million worth of your Bitcoin right up here. If you're a smart investor and you're expecting it to drop a little, spend that $100 million again, and now you got more Bitcoin, right? So in the previous bull run, which I wasn't actually charting as heavily as I am now, but I went back and studied it to see how it looks and what it looks like compared to us, and we are doing everything pretty much exactly the same. And I know I bring this up in almost every video, but it's that important, right? Way back here in the 2017 bull run, we kind of had 3 pumps. Well, let's call it 4. We had 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one was the biggest one. And looking back just on the weekly, after that first pump, we came back and we tested the daily for a while before finally confirming the weekly exponential moving average. We had our second little wave, and then we barely touched this one, and then we rode it up, and then we didn't touch it again, right? So if history repeats itself, which doesn't always have to, and we are in the first big pump, then it would be expected that potentially we would hit this weekly exponential moving average. And what better time to test it than now? We don't want to go up, up to 55, 60,000 and then drop down to 25,000, because the weekly exponential moving average is moving a lot slower than that daily. See, the daily can hug it. As we go up, it can move and make big changes up. This weekly one takes more data. It's going to take more time. And if we know we're going to come down to test it, let's test that shit now, right? And each one of these times, we had a correction of about 42%, 42%, and let's just go to this one, and this one was only about 30%. And then we had our big correction, where we actually came down over 70%, but that still brought us to a high, or a low, that was higher than our second pump in this bull run. Now, just zooming in just a little bit, and I'll get off of this, I promise. If we go into the daily, and we go all the way back here, and let me zoom in, let's take a look at exactly what happened again, just with more data. When we came up, we came down, we barely touched it. Let's get this one off so it doesn't get confusing. We touched it, and we weren't there long. We literally were there for one day before we got back up above it. On this one, we had a bearish engulfing candle. We touched it barely, and then after that, that was it. Look at this. Every time that we dropped below this, that was the essence that we got. Now, if we come back to where we are now, let's see what it looks like in comparison to that. This time, we have 5 days of coming close to this. But we also went up a lot more than we went up in that last one. So I feel like our first pump, and this is just me looking at charts, look at all the volume we had here. Look how big this volume candle is. The last time we had a volume candle this big was during the Corona dump. We were talking at least 75% of this there. So that means a lot of people were ready to dump their Bitcoin at this price here. So now we have to flip that momentum back the other way. Until I see a volume candle that's, at least higher than this and green, I don't think that we've switched yet. And as of right now, we haven't had anywhere near as much volume, and we've been in a downtrend. And looking at the VPVR here, there's not much volume being traded here as compared to when we were down at 20,000. And if you see here the line of control for the VPVR, and I can always zoom in a little bit and it'll change, but it's still coming down to around the $18,000 to $22,000 range, because that's where we traded at most. So this is where, in a really bearish scenario, we could come down to, and we could even go lower than that. But I don't personally think we will go lower than this, because we're at the start of a bull run. All right, so now moving into the hourly, let's just take a glance and see some of the good things. We did have really good support here. We didn't stay under here long. If we did come under here, it's lots of wicks to the downside, showing that people were buying it up really fast. But right now, we're coming up to it again. And simple pattern, whoops, we got a little bit of a head and shoulders forming right here. And if this little bitty one plays out, we could be looking at another drop in the short term down to this support here. And if I zoom out and get some of these other shading things off of here, oh, I guess that's just the fib tool causing the shading. We could see here that would put us back onto this ascending channel that we rode in, and we could confirm that, and then maybe that's the low. But the more we drop down, that's starting to form an even bigger patterns on top of that. We have another high, and then this would be a high, and then a drop down from that would put us down here to around 23,000, which is the line of control on this hourly. So I'm seeing a lot of bearish signs. Another thing we have is a little bit of bearish divergence. We have the RSI going down, we have price action going up. So that's showing that the sellers are kind of more in control and that potentially a trend reversal could occur. So as of right now, we're going up again. In the short term, that could just show us that we're going to come back down. So I'll hide all this stuff again so you can see that. So I definitely think that we may potentially have more room to go down. But, you know, if you're trying to dollar cost average, get in a little bit now. If it drops some more, get in a little bit more, and just allocate whatever money you're ready to do right now. Just allocate it on the way down. To move into some of the altcoins, like I said in the Discord, I brought up all the different altcoins and their comparison to Bitcoin. Like here's just a perfect example on the 5-minute. Bitcoin's up top, XRP's on the bottom. I mean, you can literally follow this to a T for every up and down. XRP, though, on the other hand, is still trying to go up. And, you know, so we could potentially see a break of the trend here and the correlation at any point now. But if Bitcoin does have another drop, it will change that. On the daily for XRP, if I get rid of the tool in the background, let me mute this real quick. We can see here that we're still following this trend, and we'll need to zoom this in just a tad so you can see where these lines are coming from and why I have them here. We came up, we kind of found a double top, a perfect double top, and we broke to the downside. And if you're following me, I was saying that we were most likely going to come down and hit 25 cents, and we hit it perfectly. From here, we fought back up, but this prediction was only because of the correlation with Bitcoin. I said that if Bitcoin seems to drop here, it just magically works out perfectly, that XRP would meet up with this. So I wanted to bring up that just, you know, trend that I found. Now we have two different options that can come out. So we have another potential symmetrical triangle. It could break to the upside or the downside. You know, we do have a lot of bullish momentum. We kind of forming a nice little W. We're setting higher lows and we're setting lower highs to constrict the price. So we could go up or down, but we're still going to be most likely dependent on Bitcoin. If we come down, we could see a price down to around 22 cents, where if you can see my crosshair going across is back to where we were in this accumulation zone, where it was a low. And if we did a full breakout, which would be top to bottom, or actually be more from like right here to there, it puts us back onto this line of resistance that we hopefully have now as support, and it still doesn't set a new low. So, you know, I definitely am bullish on XRP, but there's always a chance that we will come back down to here, especially with exchanges potentially still halting trading of XRP here in the next week. I think tomorrow will be the first exchange to stop trading on it. Also, if we were to break to the upside, the first one puts us right to where the top of these candle bodies is, and the next one puts us pretty close to where our high was for this little bitty cycle. So we're just going to have to sit back and wait and see. And this is the same chart, just on the hourly, with a couple of other moving averages on it. And I did have a request to do some ETH, so just a quick glance at ETH. We've been in an uptrend. We do have a top here that we weren't able to get over. This is kind of representing that how much sellers were here at this time. And we also have the bottom of this pump, which now is showing that we are resistance here. So if we follow a line all the way down, as long as we stay above this line here, we should be staying in a nice healthy uptrend. But I would be more longing, or more bullish and more wanting to long Ethereum if we could get back over the $1,200 mark, because that puts us back above this resistance now, which was support very briefly, but you know, still support. So we kind of have to see. But that's going to do it for today's video. I just wanted to give you all an update, and I'm trying to do my best to do daily videos, if not 1 to 2 videos a day. But you know, time constrictions and jobs and things like that. So, but if you like this stuff, hit the like, hit the subscribe, message me in Discord, Twitter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.